Hi, this is Lisa with Quilting Block of the Month Facebook group. Our second block for April 2020 is a double 9 patch. You get a simple small 9 patch in the center made into a larger 9 patch. The total size finished is going to be 12 inches. Unfinished, it will be 12.5 inches. You're basically going to need your outside pieces are all going to be 4.5 by 4.5 inches. So you need 4 for your corners, 4 for the inner sides. For your block in the center is going to be made with 5 of one color and 4 of the other of 1 7/8 inch by 1 7/8 inch. You can change this around if you want. You can make it coordinate. You can make it totally different. I'm actually going to be using different colors on my sample as I show you how to put it together. And I'm going to change the center of my block into a different color. So my outside pieces here are going to be the teal and the purple. The corners are going to be the teal again, and the purple will be the inner pieces. And then I've got my pieces for the center 9 patch. And I'm just going to take one of these teals that I have 5, and I'm going to substitute with it purple for the center. So the middle of the block will match the other color here. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to assemble your 9 patch. So I'm going to put those in whichever way you want, because I'm going to make my corners are still going to be these teals, and so my corners are going to match just like this one did here. I'm just changing up a little bit on the coloring here, and like I said, I put a different color in the middle. If you want to make it the same, you can, like at my first sample, you can do it this way. It kind of depends on how you like it. So now you're going to sew these in groups of in each row. So you're going to sew these 2 together, these 2, then these 2, these 2, these 2. Because they are such small pieces, you are going to have to make sure that your seam allowance is accurate. A little bit off is going to make a big difference, because you're going to want, once all 9 of these pieces are together, it's going to finish at 4.5 by 4.5 inches. So you're going to want to make sure that all your seams match up so that it ends up being 4.5 by 4.5. There's different feet on your machine. I've got this one here that's got the little edge on it that helps me as I'm lining up my fabric. I just line the fabric up there and stitch, and it gives me my 1/4 inch. Your machine will have lines that you can line up with. Just double check it as you go, because like I said, a little bit off is going to make a big difference on the small pieces here. So I'll go ahead and assemble these 3 rows together, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I've sewn the individual rows across. Now I did my chain piecing, and you can check out my blog on how to do the chain piecing. Just assemble however you want. Just make sure that as you've got your 3 rows, that you do make sure that they nest. So you're going to want to press 1 row in, 1 row out, 1 row in. That way when you fold the seams together, they nest nice and neat and make it easier to match up those points. So, but before you do that, what I do recommend is going ahead and getting your ruler out and making sure that this block is 4.5 inches wide. So you want to look and see if it matches up to be 4.5 inches. You're doing great. Your seams are right on. If it's a little off, it's not going to make a big difference because we'll square it up if it's a little larger. Now, if it's real wide, you know, you lay it up and you've got a whole bunch of space, then you need to recheck your seams. Or in the other thing is, all of a sudden you notice that you got a 1/4 inch short. Your block's not going to go together right, so your seams are too wide. So that's when you can just stop, take it out, your seams out, and put them back together so that that's easier. So next I'm going to go ahead and sew our rows together. Okay, I've got the 3 rows sewn together, and then just on the back, just press it out. You can either press the seams upward, inward. You can press the seams open, you know, just to reduce bulk. Just however you want, just go ahead and press it out. Now what you're going to need to do is at this point, you're going to need to make sure that your block is 4.5 inches by 4.5. So basically just get a ruler and just square it up into the correct size that you need. Mine's just a tad bit off, so I'm just going to kind of trim that all off. There's just little pieces. So now my block is 4.5 by 4.5 inch. So now we're going to assemble the bigger 9 patch. Okay, so we're going to assemble it. So this little 9 patch is going to be your center. And then just take your corner blocks, set them out there the way you want them. Then take your other blocks, put them in there. And there you go. You've got your block, your square almost done. So now what we're going to do is the same thing that we did for the center square. Is we're going to sew the first row, the second row, and the third row. And one thing I didn't say on this that you need to remember is to double check as you're sewing your rows together that you're getting them right. That you don't end up with these together and this one off to the one side. So I will sew each of these 3 rows here together. Okay, so I've sewn the 3 rows together. And then you want to make sure that you go ahead and you do press your seams. Now I did press the middle row outward just because there's so much bulk here that's a lot more bulk if you fold it in than if you press it outward. But it's up to you how you want to press them. I press them again. These 2 were in, these were out. So I can turn around here just like I did on the center. I can just nest these seams in here together. And then I can go ahead and sew the 3 rows together. Okay, after you've sewn your 3 rows together, you'll need to make sure that you press it. And I do recommend, because the middle has a lot of bulk in it from the smaller 9 patch, that you go ahead and press your seams outward. That just reduces the bulk in your seams right here in the corners. You can press those seams open if you would like. That's completely up to you, but do make sure you press it out. And once you've finished that and pressed it, you have completed the double 9 patch block, the second block for April. And so here is my initial one, and here's my other one with the different center in the middle. Make sure that you post your pictures on our Facebook group. Let us know what you think about this block.